Blood tests, hospital beds, shoppers on oxygen tubes. That's the terrifying image behind Costco's newest recall. 6 Kirkland food products pulled from shelves after a nationwide outbreak linked to deadly contamination. The same foods millions trusted as safe are now under federal investigation for poisoning the very families who filled their carts with them. How did a brand built on trust become the epicenter of America's latest food nightmare? The numbers are chilling. Health officials have confirmed over 1,000 suspected illnesses tied to Kirkland products, from bacteria resistant to antibiotics to chemical residues meant for factory floors, not human stomachs. Some victims are retirees whose only luxury was a freezer stocked with bulk savings. Now they're facing medical bills instead of membership renewals. How many of us are next? How many value deals come with a hidden cost of hospitalization? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on the 6 Kirkland foods that triggered this deadly recall. And before you panic, stay until the end. We'll reveal which alternatives remain safe to buy, so you can protect your family without falling for another corporate illusion. Number 1. Eggs. It starts with something so ordinary, so harmless, you wouldn't think twice about it. A carton of Kirkland cage-free eggs, gleaming under warehouse lights, promising purity at a price your wallet can still forgive. But this week, the illusion cracked wide open. Costco has recalled 7 Kirkland food products, including its beloved cage-free eggs, after multiple reports of a deadly illness outbreak swept across several states. What was once the symbol of Sunday breakfast now feels more like Russian roulette with your skillet. Officials cite contamination from a strain of salmonella so aggressive, it's been nicknamed the silent fever. Over 1,500 people have fallen sick, and hundreds more are under observation. The most heartbreaking part? Many of them are seniors, people who just wanted a cheap, simple meal, and instead ended up gambling with their lives over a few scrambled eggs. But here's where the story turns sour. Kirkland's cage-free label was always more about marketing than mercy. Behind the serene images of happy hens lies a machinery of mass misery. Industrial barns jammed with tens of thousands of birds gasping under artificial light, forced to lay until their bones snap. Workers describe air so thick with ammonia it burns your eyes before it reaches your lungs. Dead hens rot beside the living, yet the cartons still carry the word humane. It's the corporate version of putting lipstick on a corpse. Only this time, the lipstick costs $7.99 and comes with a side of bacteria. Even more shocking, internal documents leaked from 2 major suppliers show that several batches of Kirkland eggs bypassed key safety checks to meet holiday demand. Instead of pausing production when contamination was suspected, managers allegedly ordered accelerated cleaning to keep shipments flowing. In plain English, wipe it down, box it up, ship it out. Meanwhile, the same suppliers spent hundreds of thousands lobbying against stronger animal welfare and inspection standards. They're the kind of folks who'd sell you a seatbelt, then vote to make seatbelts optional. Costco plays innocent, pointing fingers at third-party contractors, but with its own auditors visiting plants barely twice a year, it's like guarding Fort Knox with a slingshot. The bigger question, the one no one in power seems to want to answer, is how we let corporations decide what safe means in the first place. When food testing labs are paid by the same people whose products they approve, what we're really eating isn't just eggs. It's corruption on toast. And the ripple effects hit hardest where the safety nets are thinnest. Retirees stretching fixed incomes, working families juggling bills, people who don't have the luxury of organic-only aisles. For them, Costco's recall isn't just bad news. It's a personal betrayal. The warehouse giant built its reputation as the people's store. But how many people can afford to end up in the hospital over breakfast? Still, the blame doesn't stop at Costco's doors. The entire supply chain hums like a broken symphony of negligence. Farmers pressured to overproduce, truckers rushing unrefrigerated loads across state lines, inspectors buried under paperwork. It's a system held together by duct tape and denial, and the cracks are starting to show. The next outbreak won't just threaten shelves. It'll threaten faith in an institution millions trusted with their pantries and their paychecks. Because once that trust shatters, no coupon can fix it. For those desperate to escape this rigged menu, alternatives do exist. Brands like Vital Farms and Happy Egg Co. have built their reputations on true pasture raising, where hens actually touch grass instead of metal. Local markets and regional co-ops, such as Pete and Jerry's, Handsome Brook Farms, or small Midwest collectives, are proving that transparency still has a place on American breakfast tables. Even plant-based swaps like Just Egg or Bob's Red Mill flaxseed mix are offering a cleaner conscience with every bite. The next time you crack open a Kirkland egg, remember, it's not just yolk spilling into the pan, it's every broken promise they thought you'd never notice. Number 2, beef. Walk into any Costco and Kirkland beef greets you like an old friend. Reliable, red, and gleaming behind glass, whispering comfort to wallets stretched thin. It's that one affordable luxury left in a world where everything else costs an arm and a leg. But that crimson glow, the one that feels like safety wrapped in plastic, may be more illusion than promise. Because this month, Costco's own brand of beef has landed in another recall. Tens of thousands of pounds yanked off shelves nationwide after traces of E. coli and listeria were detected. For those who already served it to their families, the announcement came too late. Emergency rooms filled with patients who thought they were just eating dinner. The heartbreak isn't in the numbers. It's in the faces of people who trusted that a store this big couldn't possibly let poison slip through. Inside the supply chain, the story reads like a horror script filmed in fluorescent light. Workers describe conveyor belts slick with blood, blades barely clean between carcasses, and supervisors shouting for speed, not safety. With up to 400 cows butchered every hour, the system leaves no room for caution. One infected carcass bumps another, and contamination spreads faster than gossip at a small-town diner. Inspectors have found fecal residue smeared across meat surfaces. Yes, the same bacteria-laced filth that's supposed to stay on the barn floor now pressed into your ground beef. Every burger flipped on an American grill could be a loaded gun, waiting to misfire inside someone's gut. And while Costco reassures the public with polished statements about strict testing, insiders call it statistical theater. Only a handful of random samples are checked. If those few come back clean, thousands of unchecked pounds slide straight into circulation. That's not oversight. That's wishful thinking dressed in a lab coat. Imagine flipping a coin for your life at dinner time, and that coin carries the names of pathogens like E. coli O157H7, Salmonella, and Listeria monocytogenes. Each can destroy kidneys, paralyze immune systems, or, in the case of infants and the elderly, finish the story entirely. So when you see Kirkland beef at $4.99 per pound, ask yourself, what's really discounted here? The price or your life expectancy? Dig deeper, and the deceit cuts even closer to the bone. Independent reports have revealed that some Kirkland suppliers quietly blend imported beef trimmings from Brazil and Australia into packages stamped "Product of USA." Those foreign sources often come from ranches that bulldozed rainforests and dosed cattle with unregulated antibiotics. Mix that cocktail into the American system, where oversight is already stretched thin, and you've got a breeding ground for antibiotic-resistant superbugs. Experts warn these mutations could render modern medicine useless within a decade. So when you grill that bargain steak, you might be feeding the next epidemic, one bite at a time. Still, millions keep tossing Kirkland beef into their carts because $5 a pound feels like mercy in a cruel economy. It's not ignorance, it's survival math. When gas, rent, and prescriptions devour the paycheck, a cheap pack of beef looks like hope. But hope can be a dangerous flavor when it's marinated. In denial. Because the truth is, Costco's scale doesn't guarantee safety. It hides its mistakes better. The same trust that once made the brand a lifeline now makes consumers blind to warning signs. But all is not lost. You can choose traceable sources like Dakota Grass-Fed or Strauss Brands, where every cut is verified from pasture to plate. You can switch to leaner, safer options like Butterball Naturals ground turkey, which tests cleaner in federal studies. Or step off the meat carousel entirely. Fill your chili with lentils, your tacos with lupini crumbles, your burgers with Impossible or Beyond patties that don't bleed bacteria. The question isn't whether alternatives exist, It's whether you're ready to stop playing roulette with your dinner table, because the next Kirkland recall might already be sitting quietly in your freezer, waiting for tomorrow's dinner bell to ring. Number 3, bacon. There's something almost patriotic about bacon in America. The sound, the smell, the glistening fat curling in a pan like an anthem for appetite. Kirkland bacon sells that dream by the pound, a promise of indulgence without consequence. But lately that dream has started to stink. Costco's in-house brand is under scrutiny after multiple independent tests found toxic nitrosamines and heavy preservatives in their bacon supply, sparking health warnings that feel less like fine print and more like a funeral notice. For years, we've been told that bacon makes everything better. But what if it's been slowly making everything worse? The story begins where most shoppers never look: the factory farms that pump out Kirkland's bacon supply. Much of it comes from Smithfield Foods, now owned by China's WH Group, a company whose idea of efficiency reads like a nightmare. Pregnant pigs locked in metal cages, barely larger than their bodies, their legs cramping, teeth grinding against steel until they bleed. Mortality rates exceeding 15% mean hundreds of thousands never make it to slaughter. They die in the same cages that were meant to keep them productive. Workers have reported scraping corpses off slats while live pigs squeal inches away. Yet the packaging on Costco's shelves still shows smiling farmhouses and green meadows, as if Photoshop could sanitize cruelty. It's not farm to table, it's torment to toaster. The rot seeps beyond the barns. In North Carolina, where much of this pork is processed, entire communities have been suffocating under the industry's toxic footprint. Giant lagoons filled with pig waste release plumes of fecal mist that drift over homes, schools, and churches. These aren't isolated farms in some unmarked county. These are neighborhoods, mostly poor and black, whose residents have sued and won nearly $100 million in damages after years of chronic illness, asthma, and poison wells. The smell of bacon on your breakfast plate carries the echo of someone else's. Cough. That's the dirty secret nobody prints on the label. And the bacon itself? Laboratory tests commissioned by consumer watchdogs found alarming levels of nitrosamines, compounds linked to colon and pancreatic cancers. The World Health Organization has warned for years that eating just 2 strips of bacon daily can raise colorectal cancer risk by 18%. Yet Kirkland's product often contains higher nitrate levels than federal guidance allows. Think about that for a moment. Seniors on fixed incomes trying to stretch every dollar, unknowingly eating chemical-laced strips that may one day stretch their hospital stays instead. Bacon used to be a guilty pleasure. Now it's more like a health hazard in disguise, with every crispy bite whispering, "See you in chemo." And the irony, even as contamination scandals mount, production keeps accelerating. Tariffs, labor shortages, and inflation push suppliers to cut corners. Less cleaning, more preservatives, and shorter curing times that trap more chemicals in every strip. This isn't efficiency, it's desperation. And desperation breeds danger. If history repeats itself, it's only a matter of time before we wake to headlines reading, "Costco bacon recalled for cancer-causing additives." When that happens, will Costco shoulder the blame? Or quietly rebrand the same meat under a new barcode and call it progress? But not every path ends in smoke and sickness. Consumers who still crave that Sunday sizzle have options that don't reek of corruption. Neiman Ranch and Applegate Naturals source from smaller farms using humane treatment and minimal nitrates, proving that ethics and flavor can coexist. Sweet Earth Tempe Bacon or Light Life Smart Bacon give plant-based eaters the same savory crunch without the factory floor bloodshed. Even local butchers, those few who still know their farmers by name, offer cleaner, nitrate-free cuts worth the extra dollar. Because in the end, that dollar isn't just buying bacon, it's buying a future where breakfast doesn't come seasoned with exploitation. So the next time you smell Kirkland bacon popping in the pan, ask yourself, is that aroma comfort or the scent of a system quietly burning from the inside out? Number 4, almond milk. It sits there on the Costco shelf like a symbol of modern virtue. Kirkland almond milk, sleek, beige, and sold in bulk for those who believe they've finally found the healthy way out. The label sings its siren song, organic, plant-based, heart smart. It's the drink of conscience, the guilt-free indulgence for retirees watching cholesterol numbers and families ditching dairy. But that calm beige carton hides a truth as bitter as the almonds it's made from. Because behind every smooth pour lies a cracked promise, a story of drained rivers, poisoned fields, and invisible laborers whose suffering never made it onto the label. What if every sip of purity comes laced with someone else's? Thirst? Here's the arithmetic of deception. A single half-gallon of almond milk contains the essence of more than 80 almonds, and each almond demands over 100 gallons of water to grow. Most of Kirkland's suppliers sit deep in California's Central Valley, a land now bleeding dry. Investigations revealed that certain almond farms tied to Costco siphon more than 1 billion gallons of groundwater annually, enough to supply tens of thousands of Americans with drinking water. While families in nearby towns are fined for watering their lawns or told to ration showers to 5 minutes, industrial pumps roar day and night to feed corporate orchards. The absurdity is cinematic. Residents can't fill a bathtub, but Costco's trucks roll out, brimming with heart-healthy milk from the same drought-stricken soil. When did we decide that a corporate beverage deserved more water than the people who grow the food? And if the earth is being drained, the workers are being broken. Farm hands have come forward describing pesticide exposure so intense it burns the lungs, pay withheld for weeks, and threats for those who complain. One 67-year-old laborer collapsed in the fields after breathing unfiltered chemical spray. He lived, but lost his job and his dignity to medical debt. Multiply that story by thousands of seasonal workers, and suddenly the almond milk in your fridge doesn't taste so clean. It tastes like desperation. Liquid exploitation packaged as wellness. Should the elderly consumer sipping unsweetened organic Kirkland milk realize that the purity they bought was someone else's pain diluted in beige? And yet the packaging still flaunts its USDA organic badge like a halo. It's a certification that tells only half the truth. Federal loopholes mean organic status doesn't require proof of sustainable water use or humane labor conditions. As long as the almonds pass chemical residue tests, the suffering behind them is invisible. So yes, the milk is clean on paper, but ethically it's polluted. It's the perfect American illusion, the appearance of virtue industrialized. Kirkland didn't lie about the almonds. It lied about everything else that makes them grow. But cracks are starting to show. A lawsuit in California now demands Costco disclose its full almond sourcing map. If that data is made public, we might see headlines not about bacteria, but about environmental theft and moral bankruptcy. Imagine Costco's shelves stripped bare overnight, cartons gone not because of contamination, but because the truth finally dried them out. Maybe almond milk will become the next tobacco, still legal, still sold, but reeking of shame. And yet, the solution may be simpler than the problem. Consumers can turn to brands that treat sustainability as a promise, not a prop. Malk Organics, Three Trees, and Elmhurst 1925 produce almond milk with transparent water usage and fair worker policies. Better still, you can make your own. Just 10 minutes with a blender, filtered water, and raw almonds. Or skip the nut entirely. Sunflower, oat, and hemp milks require a fraction of the water and none of the quiet cruelty. Because the question isn't really which milk tastes better. It's whose life gets drained so you can taste it at all. And when the last drop dries up, the only thirst left might be the one no corporation can bottle. Ours. Number 5, shrimp. It sparkles behind the freezer glass like a treasure chest of the sea. Kirkland shrimp. Frozen pink jewels promising abundance for every budget. The bag bursts with patriotic colors, a red, white, and blue reassurance that you're buying safety, value, and plenty. But in that glossy illusion lies a darker truth. Because every time a shopper on a fixed income tosses that bag into their cart, they're playing a dangerous game. A gamble where the prize is dinner and the risk is disease. The regulators already know the odds, and they're not in your favor. Shipments from Vietnam, India, and Bangladesh, the very countries supplying Kirkland shrimp, have been repeatedly flagged by the FDA for contamination with antibiotics so toxic they're banned in the United States. Chloramphenicol, nitrofurazone, names that sound like chemistry class but act more like a slow poison. Thousands of tons have been detained at ports for containing residues linked to bone marrow failure, liver damage, and cancer. Think about that the next time you dip shrimp into cocktail sauce. It's not just zest you're tasting. It's a chemical hangover disguised as seafood. Doctors warn that for older Americans managing diabetes and hypertension, these compounds are especially dangerous, compounding risks that the body can no longer fight off. Yet Kirkland's shrimp keeps swimming through the loopholes of import law, chilled but far from clean. And behind those toxins lurks something even uglier: the cost in human lives. Investigations have traced parts of Costco's supply chain to shrimp plants in Thailand, where forced labor, trafficking, and child exploitation are routine. Workers, some just 12 or 13, report 16-hour shifts, chemical burns, and beatings if they fall behind. Picture that glistening shrimp on your plate passing through hands raw from bleach, belonging to a child who hasn't eaten a full meal in days. Then picture Costco's press statement insisting it takes ethics seriously. That line has become corporate America's favorite bedtime story. Told so often they've started believing it themselves, but even the ocean itself seems to conspire in this nightmare. After Japan's Fukushima wastewater release, radioactive cesium-137 began spreading through Asian waters. Experts have detected traces along trade routes tied to shrimp farms from Indonesia to Taiwan, the same regions supplying bulk seafood to American warehouses. And here's the punchline: U.S. labeling laws don't require Costco or anyone else to reveal the exact ponds or regions of origin once products are blended. So that Kirkland bag you trust might be a mix of shrimp from 5 different countries, each with its own invisible baggage. Would you ever let a stranger blindfold you, spin you around, and ask you to pick between shrimp scampi and nuclear stew? Welcome to the Costco freezer aisle in 2024. And yet shoppers keep buying, because $14.99 for 2 pounds feels like mercy when groceries drain the Social Security check. The guilt settles somewhere between denial and necessity. We convince ourselves that if it's on the shelf, it must be safe. But that's the lie Costco banks on, the one that turns mass purchasing into mass poisoning. When a contaminated shrimp outbreak hospitalizes dozens, including 6 critical cases, and the news cycle moves on within days, it's clear who the real winner is. The corporation walks away richer, while the poor pay with their health. Still, hope flickers beyond the frost. American aquaculture is slowly rewriting the story. Blue House shrimp, raised in Florida's antibiotic-free systems, offers traceability from pond to plate. Patagonia's wild red shrimp brings a clean sweetness untouched by industrial runoff. And plant-based innovators like Good Catch and the Plant-Based Seafood Co. are proving that taste doesn't have to come laced with toxins or tears. Because when you know what's floating beneath the surface, no price tag feels cheap enough to justify complicity. The next time you hear the crack of a frozen shrimp bag hitting your cart, ask yourself, are you buying dinner or just feeding a system that's been poisoning the ocean, the workers, and maybe even you all along? Number 6. Bottled water. It stacks high in Costco carts like tiny fortresses of trust. 40 bottles for $3.99, a price that feels like mercy in a world where everything else has betrayed us. For retirees living on Social Security and families scraping by paycheck to paycheck, Kirkland bottled water seems like the last pure thing left. It glistens under warehouse lights like salvation itself. Cheap, clean, and dependable. But peel away the plastic, and you'll find that what's being sold isn't purity at all. It's theft disguised as convenience, exploitation poured into disposable hope. Because that bottle in your hand isn't a miracle of modern hydration. It's a receipt for a crime that started deep underground. Watchdog investigations uncovered that Kirkland's supplier has been siphoning more than 100 million gallons of water annually from California's drought-scorched aquifers, paying mere pennies. Less than the price of a single Costco membership for extraction permits. Meanwhile, the same communities watching their wells run dry have been fined for watering lawns, told to shower faster, and warned to ration every drop. Firefighters struggled too, find pressure in hoses while tanker trucks roared past them, hauling water wrapped in Kirkland plastic. Imagine standing in front of your empty well, hearing the hum of diesel engines carrying away the very lifeblood beneath your soil. What's more humiliating than buying back your own stolen water? Branded, sealed, and marked purified for resale, and the deeper betrayal? The liquid itself isn't the clean promise the label suggests. A Columbia University study found that the average liter of bottled water, yes, including Kirkland's, contains over 240,000 microscopic plastic fragments. Consumer Reports singled out Kirkland's brand for high microplastic presence, meaning what flows into your glass may be less water and more chemical confetti. These invisible shards embed themselves in your liver, kidneys, and even your brain, triggering inflammation, hormone disruption, and potential neurological damage. Scientists say it's like drinking powdered plastic furniture. Only the splinters never leave. For older Americans with fragile organs and weak immune systems, every sip is less refreshment and more slow sabotage. How many more invisible particles can a body take before it cracks like the infrastructure that failed to protect it? The future, it seems, holds no clean escape. Environmental regulators are already debating whether to revoke extraction permits that feed Kirkland's production lines. If that happens, Costco's bottled water empire could collapse overnight. Meanwhile, new research warns that microplastics may soon carry mandatory cancer warnings under California's Proposition 65. The same legal label once reserved for tobacco and asbestos. Imagine it. Pallets of Kirkland water stamped with the words, "This product contains materials known to cause cancer." Would shoppers still stockpile them by the truckload, or finally admit the real thirst isn't for hydration, but for denial? Yet redemption, like clean water, still exists. It just doesn't come shrink-wrapped. A zero-water filter cleans tap water to lab-grade purity for pennies per glass. Just Water uses renewable paper-based cartons that don't bleed microplastics into your bloodstream. Even filling a glass bottle from a boiled tap or a local refill station restores a measure of control corporations have quietly stolen. Because let's be honest, bottled water was never about safety. It was about selling fear back to the people who already own the source. So the next time you twist the cap off a Kirkland bottle and hear that faint hiss, remember, it isn't the sound of freshness. It's the echo of a nation being tricked into buying back its own thirst, one plastic shard at a time. Truth tastes bitter, but silence kills faster. Subscribe now, and let's keep exposing what corporations hide behind their shiny shelves.
Thank you for watching today's video all the way through. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay updated to our latest daily videos. Now feel free to check out other feature videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.